48 past the hour, and today marks 24 years since the 9/11 terrorist attacks. 2,977 people died, and thousands more were injured on September 11th, 2001, after 19 al-Qaeda hijackers seized control of 4 commercial airplanes. The first 2 planes were flown into the World Trade Center in New York City, killing 2,753 people. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower. At 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 was flown into the South Tower. Both towers would later collapse. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the western side of the Pentagon, killing 184 people. Then, at 10:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into an empty field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after crew members and passengers tried to storm the cockpit after learning of the attacks on the ground.
You know, Mika, we usually go to the guests. I do on 9/11 want to hear your thoughts briefly and your remembrances about that day.
I covered it and was there, and it's every time we talk about it, I go right back there to that beautiful blue sky, to that beautiful September morning when I remember my daughters were starting school. Everybody had kids starting school. Everybody was going to work. All those people in the towers were just going to work, many showing up early. And everything changed. There's life before 9/11 and life after for those who had any close part to seeing what happened there.
Yeah, and you know, Mika was downtown reporting on it when the towers fell. And while it's had such a significant impact on everybody's life, everybody's American life, Willie, it is 24 years now. There are children who have graduated from college who were not alive on the morning of September 11th, 2001. It's still, as Mika said, even for those of us not there, so vivid. Still to us today. It's hard to believe it's been that long.
I was thinking about that this morning. It's 24 years on. It's not with you every day the way it was for so long, not just because of what happened that day and the stories from the people we know that day, but because of the wars that came after it, all tied to that day. But then you get to this morning, and like you say, boom, you're right back.
Floods back in.
Yeah, I grew up in a town right over the bridge in New Jersey. We lost 12 people that day on 9/11. My next door neighbor, Gina Steinberg, died. Our good friend, family friend, John Van Devender, died. My sister-in-law was in one of the buildings. She was pregnant. Thank God she ran down 70 flights of stairs, pregnant, and survived. Her son, Drew, is now 23 years old, who was that baby that day. So it is... It's here again. You know, John, it hits you every year.
I was a 21-year-old intern at the New York Daily News. That was primary day in New York City, so I was supposed to work a late shift. Called in early, obviously, after the plane hit. I just remember the streets. You couldn't get, subways were shut. People were flooding the streets. Had to walk from uptown. Ended up at the hospital. And then the image that I always come back to is that the waiting line of ambulances and hospital beds where they thought there'd be survivors.
Nothing.
And there weren't. And I was later at the morgue that night. I got down to ground zero the next day, Mika, on the 12th. And what is also, we should keep in mind, is the death toll continues to grow. Even now, more and more people are still dealing with ailments they contracted because of their time, including firefighters, their time at ground zero. We're still feeling its impact today.
Richard is here. Richard Haass, who's the president emeritus of the Council on Foreign Relations. Richard, your thoughts, and also, obviously, the impact that this has had not only on our foreign policy, but on our world over the past 24 years.
Just one thing, you were talking about how many Americans weren't alive then. It's a reminder that we've got to teach history. That you're not born knowing this. For a lot of Americans, this could be the Peloponnesian Wars, and the lessons of that day. We've got to remember them. You know, the 9/11 report talked about it being a shock, but it should not have been a surprise. That there was these forces in the world that obviously distorted American foreign policy. It had a lot to do with the war in Iraq and the extension of the war ultimately in Afghanistan, and a lot of the alienation we're seeing in our country today, Joe, I think can be traced to it. Those challenges haven't gone away. I'd say two other things. People always say that crises in America are necessary to bring us together. And yeah, it brought us together, but only for a time. Crises aren't fixes. Crises aren't cures.
No.
And to me, it reminds me, and that brings us to today. 9/11 brought us together, but only for a bit. And in some ways, we're more divided than ever now, 24 years later. And the sobering thing of yesterday's news is brings that out. I wrote a book years ago about the Bill of Obligations, about what American citizens owe one another. The fifth obligation is to reject political violence.
Yeah.
And what we've got to see now are people in America who have influence, people who have the pulpit, have got to use that pulpit to delegitimize political violence. Because as Jay and others pointed out, there's a contagion here. Once political violence takes hold, it opens up the floodgates. And people feel you better do it before it's done to you. We need those in position, not just political leaders. We need the spiritual leaders, the religious leaders, the teachers, the parents of America to step up and step into this conversation to delegitimize it. And they need to do it fast. They need to do it now.
Jay.
I'm a trustee of the 9/11 Memorial Museum. I'm going to the observance right after I leave here. As everyone here has pointed out, no one under the age of 24 was alive then. And for a 16 or 15-year-old, it's probably a distant historical relic like Pearl Harbor, for example. And when I go to these observances every year, I'm struck by the fact that you have first responders, elected officials of today, and then you have those who were in office, first responders on 9/11, who are becoming increasingly gray. So it is becoming a distant memory. The thing we like to say at the memorial is never forget.
Right.
And Richard points out that it takes a crisis very often to bring us together, and 9/11 did, but only for a little while. I worry that given the state of our democracy today, if we had a similar crisis, I'm not sure the nation could rally in the same way. There'd be an argument about who did it, whether there was some conspiracy behind it, whether it's some kind of government cover-up. Congress couldn't get together to authorize military force against Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. And so I look at 9/11 as something that we need to remember. Our democracy has to be able to function in response to a crisis, and I worry today that it could not.
Well, I will say, unfortunately, after the tragic news of Charlie Kirk, you almost had a fight break out on the floor of the House of Representatives. Let me tell you, we're so far from even where I was when I was there 25 years ago. It just would not have happened.
Yeah.
And it is happening now, and we as a nation have to figure out a way to pull ourselves back from the brink. But the past 24 years for this country, for our foreign policy, sadly, have been 24 years of, in most cases, failure and bad moves and overreactions, and overreactions to overreactions. It's just one mistake after another that has put us in a place where we still remain the strongest, most powerful country on the face of the earth. But oftentimes it seems post 9/11 that we are that country in spite of ourselves, in spite of our leaders.
You think of that day 24 years ago, and again, I spoke about the promise and the hope of the beginning of the day that you could see visually in the air. And then quickly, everything changing to devastation and buildings collapsing, and before that, people jumping and running and being covered in debris, and the loss that was so severe and so fast. And on a day like today, I just hope that people look back on this and realize how much we need each other. We need each other despite our differences, whether we're competing politically or in the media sphere or on Twitter or in politics. We need each other. We need to disagree peacefully. We're going to lose ourselves. This is not a war. We're not at war with each other. We disagree.
Former Homeland Security Secretary Jeh Johnson, thank you so much. We'll be certainly following the memorial events later this morning. Richard Haass, thank you as well.